All right. How's it going, everybody? Happy Friday. I got. Unfortunately, you guys get to deal with Chris Schmidt. It's not the podcast hosted by Brad this week. It's Chris Schmidt again, back-to-back weeks. I'm pretty sure Brad will be back next week, so you guys can get back to the A-list talent here instead of just the B-list with me. But happy to be joined by Nick Forte and Joe Carb. Joe Carb will be jumping on in a few minutes, and want to just go over a few topics this week. Talk about one of our new terminal update. Talk through some equipment stuff, and then Joe's got some safety things he wants to talk through, and then a quick overview of the results of our COVID survey last week. So we'll kick it off and get going. Thanks everybody for joining, and as usual, any questions that you might have, send them in, and we can look at and answer some of your questions as we're going. So kick it off. All right, Nick, what do you got for us this week, man?
Well, I think we'll start off by it's going to be the whole parade of bald guys today.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I worry about my hair in the morning, you know, as everybody can tell. But no, great things happening this week and next week. You know, the long anticipated opening of the Kansas City, Kansas terminal. I'm proud and happy to say that we've done quite a bit of renovation in there. The terminal is open for parking on the lot. It's secured parking there. If you're familiar with the Lineage location in Edwardsville, we're literally just down the road. And I think last week we sent out the passcode, which is pound 222. So if you come in on I'm going to call it the first close entrance, which is right by MHC Carrier there, you'll see the keypad. You can put in pound 222. It'll open up. It'll close behind you. So you're in a good, secure location. The interior of the...
Hey, Nick, real quick. Sorry. Yeah. Is there a good place? Do we have that on the app or anything anywhere for our drivers to know that?
You know, I'll check with IT. I'm not for sure if we've updated that, but that's a good point.
We probably, let's get that out there so people know.
Yeah, and also make sure that we've got direction codes to it as well. So I'll make sure that happens.
Sounds good.
Good point. But yeah, you'll come into the let's call it the south location, enter, and then you'll exit through the north side. You just pull up to the gate; it'll open, and life's pretty good. We're still anticipating. I'm gonna call it a soft open next week. Not all the furniture's come in. Interesting enough, supply issues on almost everything now has just been absolutely crazy. I'll even kind of divulge into that when I get into the trucks here in a little bit, but just getting the furniture in, we're probably delayed about a week or so.
Yeah, so we're a little bit behind schedule with Kansas City.
We are
going to have, we've got a few trucks there. We've got some mechanics that are turning some wrenches out in the shop.
Yep.
We're going to have a couple drivers, new drivers to Hirschbach go through orientation down there. That's kind of the soft opening Nick was talking about. But we're starting to ramp that up. We're very excited. It's a great facility, great location. We're excited to add that to our network. So it's like add another tool to the tool belt, I think.
It is, and then also just to allow a good, safe parking haven. You know, that's one of the biggest things. If we look at our traffic that goes through Kansas City in that area, this will definitely give everybody a good opportunity to have a safe and secure parking and not have to worry about it. One of the things I would recommend everybody doing, though, we don't have fuel on site at this location, but we've worked a great deal to get on all four of the inbound interstates coming into Kansas City at Love's, that they're working on us on some bulk pricing on fuel. So I'd recommend everybody, stop in or out on getting the fuel before you stop. So good things there. We've got some mechanics starting. We've already got some folks there. We are kind of sharing the facility right now, so if you all see some trailer mechanic works going on, it's actually the utility dealer that's just down the street. They're actually our leaseholder, but they built a brand new facility back in October, and they caught a trailer on fire, so they're having to do some renovations, and they should be out by end of June, beginning of July. So we're really going to be focusing on truck work, but also trailer work as well. We'll probably do it mobily. So great soft opening coming there. I'm really excited. I think it's a good opportunity. We've got some great tenured mechanics that are starting. Some of these ladies and gentlemen are 10, 15-year mechanics from other locations. So it's good to have them joining Hirschbach.
Yeah, we got some great people down there. You guys definitely should try to. Don't all stop in next week, but over the next few weeks, let's make sure you stop in and say hi. See what we got.
Yeah, the good thing is we did put in showers and bunk rooms and laundry facilities. So everything that you've come to expect from Hirschbach when it comes to driver amenities at our terminals will be there. One of the things we're probably a little bit behind on, and I know people are going to ask this, is a kennel for the animals. I've got Roe, our facilities guy, working on that project right now on what we can do for making sure to take care of our fur babies. I know that's very important to a lot of our drivers, so
Sure.
good stuff there. The other thing kind of on my list is, where the heck are all the new trucks, Nick? You keep telling me they're coming, and yeah, well,
And Nick, where are they?
they're coming. No, so let's give a little update. So, we are in an interesting time right now. If you were to look at the supply chains across the United States and also globally, the supply chains, as we're all in transportation, realize that they're very fragile and they're stretched very thin. So when we're looking at new truck builds, I can tell you that Freightliner is about 100 trucks behind on delivering trucks to Hirschbach. Their commitment is to have that backlog caught up within the next 30 days. And a lot of this has to do with secondary suppliers. One of the big things that's really driving the industry right now, and I'm sure if you've listened to anything on the radio, they're talking about these microchips, these automotive silicone microchips that are pretty much in everything. It's having ramifications not only in trucking but also in new car builds. It's getting TVs. There's just a huge global demand, and those factories were shut down, so they're about 6 months behind on production. So it's really having ramifications on like dash clusters, some radar technology, some ECUs. So it's not that they can't build the trucks; it's just all these additional suppliers that are having problems with all these microprocessors.
Hey, Nick, so how many, do you know off the top of your head, how many Freightliners that we've put into our fleet so far this year?
This year we've put in almost 100 Freightliners so far.
And then in the next 30 days, that Freightliner's going to catch up. What do we think?
We're gonna add probably about 250.
Yeah. So that's going to be a very busy 30 days.
It's going to be very busy. That's not including, the new internationals.
What you're getting to next,
yeah, the internationals. So
I guess where I was going is, if you're on the list for a new truck, it most likely will be happening here in the next 30 days.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I'll be the first one to apologize on our behalf of Hirschbach and also the maintenance and leasing department. It's not that I don't want everybody in a new truck, because I tell you, I want everybody in a new truck.
Sure.
It's good to keep you all rolling and making a profit, feeding your families, taking care of your families, and it's good for our customers. So this is not in the situation that we wanted to be in at all. But we're fortunate that we can actually get trucks. We placed our orders back last year. To give you an idea where the truck capacity is, if you want to buy a new truck right now, you're looking at December before you can get a truck built slot. So, we're fortunate. We've got 1,500 new trucks that we've already got slots for. Now it's just a matter of working through the supply issues on making sure that they get built. And we have a commitment from both Freightliner and International that's going to come to fruition. So, talking a little bit about, I talked about Freightliners. I think we've kind of showed everybody what the new Freightliners are, and I think a lot of people are happy. But there's folks out there that really want the International. So I'll talk a little bit. I had somebody send in a question on Ask Brad, kind of to talk about a little bit of the specs on the new Internationals. And that's one thing we haven't done is kind of tell you what we've done. So they will be coming in black and orange. We're not going to do completely orange. That's one of the great things is, as we've kind of evolved in the new trucks, we've given a choice of colors, which, it's always kind of nice as a lease contractor or lease purchase to be able to kind of select, kind of have a little bit of customization of what you're doing. So black and orange, the good thing is that we have continued on with using dual tires on both the trucks and trailers going forward. These will have the X15 Cummins engine in them. We're kind of transitioning away from what I call the proprietary engines. So those are like the PACCAR MX or the A26. We're gonna stick with the folks that actually, their customization is in really engines.
The ones that know what they're doing. Is that what you were trying to say?
I was
In a
trying to
nicer
be
way.
politically correct,
In a
but
nicer
yes,
way.
yeah, people that have been doing this day in and day out. You know, it's kind of like that Dodge commercial. If Dodge makes it, come and shakes it. So, I think that makes a lot of people happy. This is going to be a 500 horsepower big bore engine, 15 liter. You know, we went all LEDs with LED fog lights. It's one of the things I think that we've kind of went back and forth on incandescent LEDs. You just get better visibility, and if we're a company and our direction is a safety culture, we want to make sure that we're giving you the best tools to be able to be a safest driver out there, because we're the safest company out there. And then just also we're back to the APUs. I mean, we probably had a misstep whenever we said that we're going to do this start-stop technology. In hindsight, being 2020, we missed the mark on that, but that's okay. We've learned a lot. And moving forward, we're going to do the APUs to really kind of provide the creature comforts.
Yeah, we missed the mark with the APUs for sure. I mean, we were getting a lot of negative feedback on them, and we thought we could try something new, and rather than testing it out, we just kind of went all in with the no APUs and the start stop and the idling. So we definitely have learned from that, and in that time, the technology, I mean, Nick, it's definitely gotten better. They're a lot better.
Yeah.
In multiple ways, but it's a lot better product, and we're putting them back in all the trucks.
We are. We did go a different direction. A lot of people are used to, why didn't we get a tri-pack? Tri-packs are a good product, but here's kind of where lies the problem. If we're not buying the Thermo King reefer units, we don't have a lot of leverage when it comes to the summertime to be able to get an operator into a Thermo King to get it fixed. But with us being one of the largest purchasers of Carrier, it certainly gives us a pretty big stick to be able to get drivers in and out if they have an APU problem. I don't anticipate we'll have a lot of them, but if we do, I mean, they're built by humans, they're going to fail. We all know that. So it will certainly give us an opportunity to be able to leverage our size with the purchasing power of our Carrier reefer units along with our Carrier APUs. So that was one of the big reasons we went that direction. One of the other things, I've got on here, we talked about new trucks, but I don't think I've touched on this, and I think it's probably very important. So there's a lot of I'm going to call our seasoned drivers out there, the Hirschbachers that have been with us for quite a long time. One of the things that you've all gotten very accustomed to is having DirecTV. And one of the things that we're doing is that we're not necessarily putting DirecTVs on the new trucks. And really the case in point is this is what happens. 2 to 3 times a week we'll have somebody that misjudges where their truck and their trailer are, and they jump the fifth wheel. And what happens is it hits the back of the dome and pushes the dome into the sleeper of the cab, and then it also pushes it into the reefer and condenser on the trailer. So that generally turns out to be about a $4,000 to $6,000 bill on the truck, and it's about a $4,000 bill on the trailer. And unfortunately, that's all our pocket. We write that check, we fix the equipment. So it's a huge expense. So you figure we're spending $25,000 a week on just repairing people's oopsies. But I would say it's not necessarily fair to penalize everybody in the network. So we're doing something a little bit different. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best solution, but it's definitely a solution if you want to keep your DirecTV. We'll give you the equipment, the receiver, the dome. That's about $1,000 worth of value, and then we can get you a window mount bracket. So when you stop, you can actually put your dome on your passenger side mirror or window and be able to still utilize the DirecTV. We'll give you the number. You'll be able to contact DirecTV and set up the subscription, because that's the other thing. Trying to appease everybody on a subscription has been very difficult.
Yeah, we know everyone. Not everyone wants to use the streaming, and there's people that really like that DirecTV. So we're looking at options for you guys to keep that for sure.
So that's something I don't think that we've really done a good job of communicating. That we understand, and we hear our driver base that, hey, we really want to have the option to be able to continue on using DirecTV if we want, and but we also have to weigh the financial responsibility on Hirschbach's side to how do we mitigate the unnecessary expense. So I think that we've come up with a pretty good solution. I just don't think we've done a real good job of communicating it. So I wanted to make sure I brought that to fruition.
All right, thanks, Nick. What else? Got anything else today?
I don't have anything really a lot else. I would say that everybody kind of bear with us if you do have a situation where you are picking up trailers. One of the things I found is I don't believe we're doing very good pre-trips. I need everybody to make sure that you're checking the annual DOTs on those trailers. If they're expired, you need to get with the road assist, send in a driver services ticket and say, hey, I picked up a trailer that doesn't. We're going to get you to a real close shop, get that thing done. But I've been kind of doing some research over the last few weeks, and we've had a lot of trailers that necessarily have been passed driver to driver that haven't been caught on annual DOTs, and that's kind of like passing trash. I know it's an inconvenience to the operator that's picking it up, but it's also part of our responsibility as a professional operator to do our proper pre-trip on both our truck and our trailer. It just kind of like all of a sudden I get information that I got to go to the shop and have new tires put on my truck. Well, tires just don't all go completely empty overnight. It's a wear item, about 12,000 miles per 32nd. So we need to be doing due diligence and checking those tires, and if they are starting to get low, then work with your driver manager to get routed into one of the terminals. There's a huge benefit for us doing that work internally on mitigating the expense, but it also gives the opportunity to do your laundry, to relax, to kind of get things done. There's the amenities at the terminals are probably a little bit better at times than some of the truck stops. So just a couple of things on the maintenance side. We're also going to start doing some interesting things coming into the yards. We're going to start moving forward and inspecting all the equipment as it comes on the yard. In an effort, one of the things that everybody talks about is somebody left me with a problem child. Well, the only way that we can kind of mitigate that is if we look at the equipment as it comes on to make sure that it's in impeccable order before it leaves.
Yep.
So,
Sure.
I don't have anything else, Chris.
All right, man. Thanks
All right.
for your time today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. All right, we got Joe Carberg pinch hitting for Rob Oddie today. I know the character has Rob, so Joe got lucky. He didn't get a picture made of himself. By the way, it's just probably the favorite picture I've ever had taken and animated and edited. So thank you, Warren. Solid work, man. As Joe kind of gets going, just want to go through a few. We talked about the COVID survey we were going to do last week. I just want to run through a few of the numbers on that. Essentially, about 5% of you said, of the 450 results that we got, about 500 of you guys saying that you have the vaccine, 41% of you saying that you want it, with about 111 drivers that want assistance. And we have a team of working through any percent applied and said they want assistance. We've got your information. We're working through that list. Every state's different, so it's not an easy, hey, head here and just get it. It's definitely a challenging process, but we're working our way through it. And I would just say, if there's anyone who, hasn't heard from them or didn't turn the survey, COVID hotline is still working, and that's the best way to call if you want some help and to get your name on the list. And that number's 563-949-2161. So again, 563-949-2161. So that was the results of the survey. Again, we want to do what we can to help you guys. I know we're working on doing the one-shot Johnson & Johnson rather than the two-shot Moderna and Pfizer ones for you guys, so you don't have to get to the same place. In this certain tight window, make it a little bit easier for you guys. So, all right, let's switch gears a little bit to safety. We've got a few updates for you guys, and just kind of that time of the year that we've got some inspections and stuff going on, so we wanted to start there. So, Joe, you want to just kind of give a speeding update with where we're at as a company and just what we're doing?
Yeah, wanted to stop in today and talk about.
Wait a minute, Joe. Why don't you introduce yourself? I didn't do a very good job of that.
Sorry about that. Hey everybody, Joe Carberg. I'm the safety manager for the over-the-road fleet. Stepping in today for Rob Oddie, our VP of Safety. Wanted to give an update on some of our CSA scores, talk about the CVSA Blitz upcoming, and talk about just speeding in general and hours of service a little bit. So.
Right, thanks. It was a lot better, a lot more professional. So nice right there.
Well, yeah. I'm the C team here. So,
no, I'm right there with you, buddy.
All right,
so let's talk speeding.
Yeah, so speeding. I'll start with our CSA updates. So for a lot of our more tenured drivers, you probably heard us talk quite a bit about CSA scores. For those of you who've not that familiar with it, CSA stands for Compliance, Safety, and Accountability. It's basically how the federal government tracks our performance as a motor carrier in several different categories.
And compares it to other carriers, right? That's the best way to probably explain it. It's how we rank based on other carriers running a similar amount of miles as us.
Yep. So it's basically a comparison to our peers, and so the two categories that we spend most of our time in safety looking at are unsafe driving and hours of service.
Why is that? Why are those the two that we spend most of our time?
So those are the ones that are kind of a big impact on how we actually physically drive the truck. Unsafe driving talks about the actual behaviors that a driver exhibits behind the wheel. So speeding, following too closely, making erratic lane changes, those types of things. And then hours of service, which we'll talk about in a minute,
are the two that we're not in compliance in.
Those are the two that we're struggling the most. Yes, saying. So
hours of service, you were saying?
Yep, hours of service is the how our drivers run their logbook, which you guys are all very familiar with. So unsafe driving, we've made quite a bit of progress over the last year. We've shown about a 10% reduction in our scores. We're currently sitting at 85%, which basically means in relation to our peers, 85% of motor carriers are doing better than us in that category, and we're working very hard to bring that score down. It's a score that takes a while to trend downwards, so the progress we've made over the last year is pretty solid, sitting at 85%. But to get back in compliance with the federal DOT, we have to be down to 65%. So we still have quite a ways to go.
Long ways to go.
Yeah,
sure.
Very much so. And the biggest way we can make improvement in that, about 50% of that score is comprised of speeding violations. So every time you get pulled over by the DOT and they write down a speeding violation on an inspection, that is basically what feeds into that score. And every violation that comes with CSA points, that feeds that score and makes it go higher. And the more inspections we get, the more points we get, the higher those scores go. The higher those scores go actually kind of feeds on itself, because then we start getting inspected more. So it's kind of a vicious cycle.
Correct. So how long, say if I'm a driver and I get a speeding ticket, how long does that stay on the record for the CSA?
Yeah, so it hits two areas. Hits the driver, and it also hits the carrier. So on the carrier's score, it hits us for 2 years. So basically, if I'm a driver and I get a violation for speeding today, that'll stay on Hirschbach's record for 2 full years, and it'll stay on a driver's PSP for 3 full years. So
good.
Yeah, so you guys have heard us talk a lot about our expectations around speeding. The biggest thing we can ask our drivers to do is just to follow the speed limit. Always maintaining a safe speed, going the speed limit at a maximum. Reducing that speed in inclement weather or bad road conditions or busy road conditions, traffic, things like that. Maintaining a speed limit is the biggest piece of that in terms of bringing that score down.
That's a huge deal. I mean, we, from an operations perspective, there are some times that loads are planned tight, but we never plan a load so tight that you have to average, 65 miles an hour
right.
the entire trip. There's all that's not the average speed. So, if you get on a load that you think is planned too tight, or you need to let us know. And the expectation is not that you speed, and do 65 and a 50 to try to make that delivery on time.
Mm-hmm.
The expectation is to run the speed limit and get there safely, without tickets, without jeopardizing, public health, and get it there as quickly as you can while communicating that to us. So,
yep.
Very, very important. We've got, we are our own worst enemy with some of this stuff, as Joe kind of said. The higher our scores are, the more inspections we get, which means they're likely to find more because they're inspecting us more. So we're trending in the right direction. We're not making quite as much progress as we should be. I don't think we could be doing better, and we need everyone's help. It's a big priority for us to work on getting these scores lower. Everyone, just from the operations perspective, from the customer perspective, it's one thing to not want to have scores out of compliance, but everyone likes running good freight, right? Right now we kind of have the pick of freight that we want, get nice long haul, one stop, drop and hook type freight. customers they look at these scores, and the time will come where they're going to say, hey, if we want a safer carrier, we're not going to give you this freight because you're out of compliance. So it's a big deal. We want to make sure everyone in the organization, definitely not only us in the office, but you guys out there, we need your help. We all need to be pulling in the right direction and to get this better.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a huge ad. Thank you for that. And yeah, for any driver out there who is currently meeting that expectation, you're following the speed limit at all times, we can't express enough thank you for helping push that score in the right direction, and also keeping the people around you safe. And for those of you who don't, those of you who feel like you have some opportunity to do better in that area, please do so. Again, we can't express how much we need your help to turn that around. Speeding is a big deal right now. So
for sure.
So yeah, and then talking about hours of service as well. So this one you're all familiar with. It's how you run your logbook. It is another area that we're struggling with, just staying compliant with. And there's pieces we have in place to help with some of the little stuff, some of the more form and manner issues, like having trailer numbers updated on your logbook, having customer information on there. A lot of that stuff is actually programming for that now, where through the dispatching system, those items will be automatically updating on your logbooks. But the biggest area I think we have opportunity to be better with in terms of our service score is falsification, driver falsification on their logbook. And where most of those issues are going to come up are going to be in that use of personal conveyance, or PC. And so the biggest rule of thumb with PC is basically, if you're doing anything work-related while on PC, know that you're doing it the wrong way. PC stands for personal conveyance because it is something that is meant for purely personal use. If you're not under dispatch, you are not doing anything work-related, you're going to truck stop to use the bathroom, or you're going out to get food or something like that, or you're just taking the truck home. Those are all areas where PC is perfectly legal. If you're using it for anything work-related, whether that be going to get fuel, taking the truck in for maintenance, going to a customer, or even if you're on the customer and you're just tooling around in the lot looking for a trailer or something like that, those are all areas where PC is going to get you into trouble. So that's one of those things the DOT looks for in terms of falsification, knowing that you're using your logbook legally and running everything legally. So that would be a huge lift there. And if there's anybody who, you're using PC for a certain function, you're not sure if it's work related or not, give us a call, either safety or direct your calls towards the logs team, and just ask, like, hey, I've been using PC for this reason, what do you think? And we'll make sure we get you pointed in the right direction there. Which kind of parlays into the CVSA Blitz. So the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, the International Road Check Blitz is coming up here. I know a lot of you guys are probably familiar with it. For those of you who are not, it's basically an international blitz of roadside inspections. So it's the CVSA is an alliance of different safety officials in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And every year they put on a couple different what they call blitzes or roadside inspections that focus on a couple different areas. And this year's focus, they have a driver category and they have a vehicle maintenance category they focus on. And for this year's vehicle maintenance focus is going to be on lighting. So the lights on your truck, the lights on your trailer, headlights, tail lights, brake lights, the side running lights down the side of the trailer. So Nick had mentioned before he stepped out, making sure you're doing thorough pre-trips. That's a huge piece of it. Hirschbach, our biggest area with vehicle maintenance violations is headlights. So making sure you're doing your pre-trips very thoroughly, check your lights. That is the one inspection we get in the vehicle maintenance category that hits us the most, is those headlights. So make sure you're just being super diligent about that. And then back to the hours of service, that is what the driver category for this year's Blitz is focused on, is hours of service compliance. So the biggest thing just being general awareness and compliance with hours of service rules. And then also there's going to be an added focus on making sure drivers know how to operate their ELDs. For those of you who have been inspected recently, since the ELD mandates come out, there's been a little bit more focus on, does our driver know how to use their actual device. So in our case, Geotab, they're going to want you to be able to transfer logs. They're going to want you to be able to find the instruction sheet. They're going to want you to be able to find that malfunction guide. Those last two pieces you can actually find in your permit book. We print those out in hard copy and make sure they're in every single permit book. So, if you get a minute, thumb through that, make sure you find those things. If it's not in there, give us a call. We can either get you another copy, or there's actually a copy on the app as well. So if you navigate through the app, you'll be able to find that instruction guide and the malfunction guide. You'll be able to find all of those things. So but yeah, if there's any function with your logbook that you're not really sure how to run, make sure you give the logs team a call, and we're happy to walk you through that stuff.
So is that the best? So is there any training videos or anything like that on the app as well? That we have, do you know?
I haven't looked in a while. I know there was some stuff out there, and we've had some, as we rolled Geotab out initially, we had a lot of training guides put together that are, like PDFs and pamphlets and stuff. I know there are some items out there for videos. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what's out there, but again, if you have any questions, make sure you check with our logs team. They're very happy to walk you through that. And then also, almost forgot to mention, the most important part is the dates. So this year's CVSA Blitz starts May 4th, which is a Tuesday, and runs through May 6th, which is a Thursday. So it's that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday block. So make sure you get ready. Make sure you're doing very, very thorough pre-trips. Make sure your logbooks are legal, up to date. Make sure you're verifying them every day. And if there's any function that you're not 100% solid with on your Geotab, make sure you reach out and get that extra training.
Now, all things we should be doing every day, but
Yes.
There's the even higher likelihood that you'll be checked for those things in those 3 days. So
Yeah, for sure.
again, if you have any questions, call logs. We'll look at making sure we have some training or some how-to guides, whether it's videos or PDFs available to you guys, and we'll get that information out to you. Okay.
Yep, and we'll be sending out reminders as well as that blitz comes closer. So we'll be sending out some communication. So be ready for that. Pay attention to those, or just write them down now as you're listening to this. May 4th through May 6th.
It's always nice to get an inspection and have a clean one, right? We have a little bonus for drivers for doing that, right?
Yep. Well, it's definitely keeps you in the running for those weekly and monthly incentives.
Sure.
Any violation in that CSA area, whether it's vehicle maintenance or unsafe driving hours service, make you automatically ineligible for any weekly and monthly incentives. And if you get a clean level 1, you get that 90-day sticker where DOT slaps that sticker on the truck where, you're basically clear for the next 90 days for scale, so you won't have to worry about any more roadsides for a little bit.
Big deal. All right, man.
All right.
Anything else today, Joe?
Nope. I think that'll do it for me.
All right. So lots of information discussed today. It's from the market's crazy hot. Customers are knocking on our doors. I probably have 20 emails in my inbox right now since I started this, asking for more trucks. I think we had a customer visit us this week, located up in Minnesota, and he said the data that they're looking at, there is 12 loads for every one truck up in that region of the country. So it's pretty crazy. Definitely tight. It just highlights the importance of servicing the customers that we do have, and taking care of them. We're working through rate increases. We're working through all these things. So we need your help with a lot of the stuff we talked about here, and we also need some help making sure we service the customers. I think every time Dan Wallace is on here, he brings up referrals, so I'll keep up that tradition for him. We need drivers. The market is crazy right now. Anyone that that is looking, bring them our way. $1,200 as soon as they show up. So definitely a nice little bump there for you guys. And market's crazy. Let's capitalize on it. Let's haul as much freight as we can. Let's all make some money. So stay safe out there. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.